afternoon, everyone. It is Tuesday. It is Tuesday. Thank you for joining us today. I just want to remind everybody a little bit of housekeeping rules. If you would like to speak to me or our fabulous guest today, make sure you go to our Unapologetically Me page on Facebook, or you can go onto our YouTube channel, Philadelphia Women's Network Connection, and you can ask questions there. I just want to welcome everybody. I want to welcome everybody. Hey, Diane, happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Same to you. Same to you. Always looking forward to having you here. It's a beautiful day today. I can't believe it. I mean, we're in Philadelphia and it's almost 70 degrees, if you can believe that. What kind of weather? This is how you get sick. I mean, last week I had my heat on. Today I got the windows open. So, I don't know what's going on. This global warming is no joke. But anyway, it's a beautiful day. I understand here it's in Philadelphia, it's going to be a beautiful week. So make sure you guys get the opportunity to get out there and enjoy some of this sun, enjoy the last days of this beautiful weather, because we're going to be going into December soon. So on that note, today we are coming from Florida. So they got beautiful weather all year round. But, it's always nice to go to another city and, speak to someone different. My guest today is new. We don't know each other. She asked to come onto my show after I put out something for guests. So I'm always excited to talk to new people. It's nice to talk to people that I know, but it's also nice to, talk to people I don't know. I know it's lovely there, Diane. You're in Florida too, so I know. So don't rub it in. Don't rub it in. But anyway, I am going to stop talking right now because I want you guys to meet this beautiful personality, this beautiful woman, and let's talk to her a little more about what it is that she does and her business. So, Jay, take yourself off of mute. Hi, welcome to the show.
Oh, great afternoon. Thank you for that beautiful introduction.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Jay and I had the opportunity to talk a little bit before the show because, I just wanted to like break the ice, make her feel a little more comfortable and everything. That's how I found out she was from Florida. A lot of times, I don't know where my guest is. I find out the day of the show where they're coming in from. But Jay, talk to us a little bit about you being the founder of Empressive Expressions. And before we go there, how did you get into this whole vibe of what it is that you're doing now?
Oh, that's several stories in one. So Impressive Expressions, that is my baby. It's an art, edutainment, and wellness platform devoted to uplifting Black feminine self-esteem and self-love, and just pretty much inspiring Black women to unapologetically love and heal ourselves. And it pretty much just came out of my own story of my own commitment to loving myself and with my struggles with self-esteem and what some of the rituals and practices that I learned to develop in order to become better, to become my best self, and understanding the impact that my words were starting to have on people when I would share my stories in the form of poems, and wanted to have a greater platform to give those gifts to people, to make that more readily available. So that's pretty much how I developed my business. And I'm an artist. I'm not just a poet. So that's where the name Expressions came from. Like, it's all about
Mhm,
just creativity and
mhm.
the art of creative expression. So poetry is my main thing, but I dance, I cook, I sew, I craft, I do
Mhm.
fashion. So, and I wanted that, the way that Black women are multi-passionate and multi-hyphenate women, I wanted to create a platform for other women like myself.
You know what? I love everything you just said. One of the biggest takeaways of what you just said, and again, I just want to remind everyone, if you are putting comments on my personal Facebook page, we will not see them. So you have to go to the Unapologetically Me page on Facebook or our YouTube channel if you would like to ask questions. But I want to get back to something that you said, self-love. Self-love. I think we've all, especially women, and women of color, growing up having that self-love about yourself, having that self-esteem, because face it, we are in a world where we are kind of conditioned to look a certain way, to be a certain weight, to talk a certain way. So I like that you touched about that. And I like that you are expressive, that you're an artist, because it's usually the artistic people that have so much to say. So I love that. Now, do you do what exactly? Now, you said you wear a lot of hats. You're a poet, you're artistic, you're creative. So, how does your organization, Empressive Expressions, fit into people's lives?
So, yes, because I wear many hats, I provide many different services. So, as a poet, I provide what I call edutainment, uh,
Mhm.
education in the form of entertainment. I'm getting the words mixed up. It's been
It's okay.
so long. So, pretty much when I'm doing my poetry, and I have a book, which you can find on my website. You can also find it on Amazon, Wild Yoni Flower, A Self Love Journey. And it's a collection of my poems and journal entries. So, when I perform on stage, that's a form of, me sharing my wisdom, but it's also a form of like healing and empowerment and education that's happening in, the lessons that are being dispensed, from my words.
Mhm.
I also provide workshop services, virtual workshops on many different topics related to creative self expression, and then also in the academic type field because I work as a healing artist as well as a facilitator in a nonprofit
Mhm.
those skills to curate, safe spaces for Black women to talk about these different issues when it comes to self love, but also like Blackness and loving our Blackness and, things like that. I provide workshop services for that. I also provide circle keeping services, which is a form of mediation, excuse me, and conflict resolution. I have
Mhm.
apparel that's poetically inspired, a gamut of services and products that come from my art and soul is what I say from my poems.
That's awesome. I'm looking as you're talking, I'm looking in the background and I see all that artwork. Is that yours?
So it's a whole I love
Let,
talk
let me let me blow you up so I can so people can see your artwork back there. Wow.
so talking
Wow.
about Black women.
Mhm.
Here, this one is a painting that was done by a Black woman of me. So that is a photograph of me that I had.
Okay.
This one here was done by a friend as well, and this one too, all done by Black women. This
Mhm.
one, I believe, is a Haitian male artist, but
Okay.
all iterations of Black women, art by Black women, like always first and foremost for Black women.
Wonderful, wonderful. You know what? It's that space of being a woman, being a color. It's just so many things in that space. So many I won't say genres, but just so much going on. And I like the fact that you kind of like zone in with not only your creativity, but you zone in on the issues that are important today. Because a lot of time, one thing I like about Unapologetically Me, and this is the reason why I call it the show, is people know I'm not afraid to talk about different things.
Exactly.
Okay. And I'm not going to be here and pretend like things don't exist. We know things exist. We know that opportunities are not the same across the board for everyone. We know that. We know businesses have closed because they did not have the financial help. Lower in the on the minority spectrum than anything else. We know that. But what I like that you said, even though you wear a lot of hats, is that one of the things that you were talking about, I think you said, was it mediation or meditation?
Mediation.
Mediation. So can you elaborate a little more about that and what you do with that?
So I do a practice called restorative justice. And
Mhm.
restorative justice is like the academic term for it, but it's pretty much a practice that we've been doing, and I say we in the indigenous sense
Mhm.
as well as we in the Black people sense who are also indigenous to this land. um, and it's pretty much it's community centered and being able to restore relationships that have been severed or harmed because of
Mhm.
harm in a way that honors everyone's humanity. So,
Mhm.
it's a way of like reshifting your thinking when it comes to dealing with conflict so
Right.
can be able to do so in a holistic way. You can do so in a healthy way. So I provide, like, a space where people can feel comfortable in being vulnerable. And
Mhm.
it's a very, very powerful experience because, at the end of the experience, even though it's difficult,
Mhm.
people walk away transformed. They walk away feeling more empowered of like, oh, okay, even though I have been hurt in the past by being open, there is reward in, opening up and showing my full self because healing can take place. So,
Right. And you know what? And I like that, having a place and a space where you can be vulnerable. Because a lot of times we can't be. It comes to, if I do show myself and I do show who I am, will that be held against me later? Because it's hard. I'm telling you, me, myself, I know growing up, one of my biggest things is trust issues. I had a huge, huge problem with trust issues, and I still do kind of, but it is because of years and years and years and years and years. Because when I was younger, I was very vulnerable. So I saw the good in everybody. I thought everybody had a good heart. But growing up, I realized that was not the case, and that there were people that were different, and the way they might treat you was differently. So I like that you have that open space. And as I'm talking to you more and more, you're giving me kind of like that vibe of one of my favorite poets, Maya Angelou. You're just giving me, yeah, I just get that kind of vibe from you. And I think it's a wonderful thing. So let's talk about, I love poetry. Let's talk about some of your poetry. Let's talk about how that come about, how the idea come about, and some of the things that you talk about in your poetry.
oh, well, I'm just honored that you compared me to the ever great Maya Angelou. That is my shiro, my idol.
Hmm.
So, but as far as my poems, I have been writing ever since I was maybe 7 or 8, is as far
Hmm.
back as I can remember. It was always my first go-to for expressing myself. I was a very shy, introverted kid, and so I like to keep a lot of me to me.
Hmm.
And but I was also awkward when it came to expressing myself. So for the longest time, writing seemed easier for me to express myself. Uh,
Hmm.
so my poems came from, all of the things that I felt I wasn't quite comfortable with speaking aloud. I would write it down. All of the things that I couldn't quite process or make sense of, I would write it out. So that's where it came from. But ironically, I became this I had developed this whole different persona, which is where
Hmm.
Impressive Expressions came from. Oh, actually where J Empress comes from. Was I created this anonymous artistic persona because even though I was very shy, I was always a performer. However, I was very like quiet about my poems.
Hmm.
No one knew that I wrote or did poetry except for those I was really close with. But I would sing, I would dance, like I was very well known as a performer. I was in drama club. And then I guess in college, thinking
Hmm.
back, where you're finding yourself, that switched, and I wanted to really become more comfortable in my poetic identity, and it took a while, but I became really, really comfortable with, being on stage and again, the impact that I saw that my words were having on people. And so I was like, this is something that I need to, you know, not be afraid to share. I need to actually
Hmm.
share this. And it really changed my life to be cliche. It opened up so many doors and opportunities. So that's when the thought came up, let's expand it. Let's go crazy with it. Let's go all out with it.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like I said, I had said to you earlier before we got on, your aura, you have such a huge aura. I can feel the energy coming through as you're talking from one creative person to another. I can appreciate what it is that you're saying. So I want to ask you a question. So when you get your ideas and your thoughts about maybe your dance, your art, your poetry, how does that come to you? I know how it comes to me. Mine's usually come to me in a dream. And so I can get a clear picture. My husband always laughs because he's like, you remember your dreams so vividly. And I say, you know what? It is in my dreams that God gives me the messages, because I'm during the day, I'm so busy and I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and running around. I don't have the time to sit still and listen to the messages I'm supposed to get. So I get my inspiration in my dreams, unless it's an answer that I need right now. Then I say, okay, God, I need this answer right now. Then let me know. So, how do you get your inspiration?
Right. I love that. I love that testimony. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
I am blessed to say that now the way I have cultivated my space and like my sense of self and my personhood, I receive inspiration everywhere, like all the
Mhm,
time from
mhm,
all the things. So
mhm,
the what actually like differs is just like the level of intensity of the inspiration of
mhm,
like, okay, is this something that I feel compelled to, I have to stop whatever I'm doing and see
mhm,
it all the way through? Because sometimes that'll happen. I'll be um just doing something that may seem mundane or something enjoyable, and all of a sudden this thought will like take hold of me or seize me, and I'll have to write it, and a poem will happen, and I'll have to, you know, organize it then and there. And then other times it's just kind of like passive, ideas are just floating through, and I'm like, okay. And when I create space, when I meditate,
mhm,
I create space for my creative time, then I go ahead and write those things down. I flesh them out, come back to it, that kind of thing. Other times it is through dreams. I get very, very vivid dreams. And so I
mhm.
also take space to write those things down. But really, yeah, it's in everything. I say poetic life is literally like I find poetry in all types of things. I'll be at a traffic light and you know, a poem will will erupt. So everywhere and everything.
That's the gift of being so creative. Because you are creative, that you're able to be tuned in to everything that's going on around you. A lot of people don't believe in that, but I do. You have to be tuned in order to, we have so many gifts as individuals, a lot of gifts that we don't even know about. I know there's a scripture that said that your gifts will make room for you. It is so true. We all had gifts. And that's one of the things that I try to incorporate in my organization with the women that we have. We have a little over, it's almost 1,300 now, small business women in our community. And my biggest thing that I express to them is there is no competition. There is no competition. It's about collaboration. Because when we collaborate, we can do so much more. Just because you're looking at what I'm doing, or you're looking at what Jay is doing, or someone else, the grass is not always greener on the other side. You don't know what that person been through. They might have to crawl over glass. They may have had their lights shut off. There's a young lady on Facebook now who we're friends, and she is thriving in her business this year. I mean, thriving, really being blessed. I'm cheering her on. I'm happy for her. And she put up a post today and she says, what you guys see now, yes, it's beautiful, but you don't know last year when my lights got cut off, when I didn't have food in my refrigerator, when I didn't have money to pay my bills, when I was about to lose my house. You didn't see that. All
Yep.
you see now is the checks of $7,000 that I get from YouTube and the other things that I'm doing in my organization. So that's what I'm saying. Nobody knows your journey but your journey. But how long has Expressive Expressions been into existence?
It has been in existence for 3+ years now. March
Oh,
2018 was
okay.
the birth.
Okay, okay. So you've been around. You're still a baby, but I'm glad to hear that you are still here. Now, do you have a brick and mortar office, or do you work out of your home?
I work out of my home. It's actually an online business, and
Mhm.
it's mostly digital.
Okay. Well, let me tell you, you're ahead of everybody else because digital is the way to go. Especially since COVID, everybody had to pivot. And for those that didn't pivot, those are the ones, unfortunately, their business did not last. But that's where we're in now. We're in a state of digital. Everybody is online. If you want to get your business out there, if you want to, you got to get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, and I love that you said that you were introverted. And some people, when I tell them that in a kind of way, I'm introverted too, they were like, I don't believe it because, they say, oh, you're on the show and you're talking and you're doing this and you're doing that. But I am. Facebook Lives, I do not like doing Facebook Lives. I'm just going to put it out there. But I do them because I know I have to do them. But I suck it up, the nerves, the sweat, the stomach things, the butterflies, whatever, I get over it and I do. Now, when you are getting ready to get set up for maybe one of your, now, first of all, let me backtrack. I'm sorry. When you do your poetry, do you go to somewhere else to do it? Hey, Michelle, welcome. Or do you like just set up events and then you have your poetry, is what I'm trying to say. Does that make sense?
It does. I love Snow Michelle's use of awesome sauce. I love saying that.
Yes.
So I must clarify, because before the pandemic, my business was a hybrid. I
Hmm.
did in-person, performances, as well as I sold my physical products, like I would vend. But with the pandemic, the panini, all of that we're in right now, definitely had to make some shifts. Um,
Hmm.
and I did workshops and stuff online already. So those services and offerings, I capitalized on that. So like
Hmm.
I offered a course, I have apparel, but like yeah, all the in-person things, the performances. I've actually been again pivoting to making things
Hmm.
purely online, so I haven't been performing in person, and I've just been nervous of like being outside. Period. So
Hmm.
yeah, I haven't done that in a while. But yeah, usually there will be events already that I've either hosted for myself or that will already be in place, and I would go. I would be booked as the feature or as one of the artists. I would perform and vend my items, um, and yeah, it'll be a great time.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. I'm sorry, I didn't hear what was the last thing you said.
But now you can find me on the site and see what virtual offerings I have.
Yes, which is wonderful. And I'm going to be bringing up her website for all of you to see shortly. Make sure that you connect with Jaiye. A huge presence, beautiful spirit. I just enjoy talking to people that's creative because I know what it feels like to be in that space, and it's wonderful because people will say, well, where did that idea come from? Or how did you think about that? Or whatever. And it's hard to explain, and like you said, you get inspired by everything around you if you open yourself up to it, but you have to be in tune. So let me ask you, Jaiye, if someone was starting in the business and say they wanted to do something like you or similar to you, first of all, you wrote a book, so we didn't get a chance to talk about your book. Tell us a little more about there you go. So tell us about your book and what's in your book. And I'm sorry that I didn't get a chance to read your book yet.
So I definitely do want to address the question about like what I would tell someone starting out, because I
Yes.
do talk about being tuned in. I say it's about being tuned in and turned on. Um,
Mm.
so, but that goes into my book. Um,
Mhm.
so I'm more known now, not when I first started out, which is funny, but ironically, I'm more known now as an erotic poet. Um,
Mhm.
so like the last performances and stuff that I've been booked for, people know me for all the nasty stuff. But I always say I'm a spiritual, vulgar, spiritual, sapiosexual. So my poems, a lot of the times it pulls you in with the sexual rawness, but it's
Mhm.
actually the rawness period of like me expressing who I am unapologetically, like the
Mhm.
name of the show. So my book is Wild Yoni Flower, a self-love journey. And that's pretty much what it is. It's, a compilation of my poems, my journal entries, my really deep, personal, private insights that are, artistically woven and expressed, but
Mhm.
it's my, personal experience of, what it's been like moving through the passages of womanhood and, getting to a place of loving myself, knowing myself and loving myself. So, yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So what I'm going to do now, if you can believe it or not, We are like at 12:55 already, if you can believe that. I told you this conversation goes by so fast, especially when you're talking about some good juicy stuff. And I got to get that book now that you talked about it. But what I'm going to do is I want to bring up your website, and I am just going to be making some announcements, letting people know what's going on. While I'm doing that, you will see Jay's website at the bottom there. So the first thing I want to talk about what's coming up with PWNC next week. For those of you who are not aware, we're in affiliation, or we work with Temple Small Business Development Center. So each month we come to them and we do trainings for them, webinars. The webinars are free to the public, and we talk about different things. So I am going to be doing a webinar next week on video marketing. Jay and I touched about that today. Getting on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Instagram Live. It's not going to tell you how to get on Facebook Live and do these things. What I am going to be giving you is some tips and some tools to help you while you're doing video marketing that might get you out there in front of your competition, get you more awareness, more eyeballs on what it is that you're doing. So the date of that is next Thursday, November 18th. It's around lunchtime, 1:30 to 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. So for my global people, that might be either early in the morning for you, late at night for you, but if you can jump on, please do so. So you can go to our website, which is phillywnc.org. That's phillywnc.org. Go to events, and you will be able to register for this event here. Next is something that is a global thing. It affects everybody. November 30th is Giving Tuesday. Giving Tuesday is a great day, and this is done all over the world, not just here in the United States. It's all over the world where you have the opportunity for your nonprofit to get donations. So we want to remind everyone that November 30th, Giving Tuesday, is coming up. Our nonprofit is PWNC Foundation. What we do in our foundation is we work with those women and solo entrepreneurs who want to leave their corporate job. Remember, I had a corporate job up to 4 years ago, and I wanted to leave 2 years before I actually left. But we help those women that want to leave their corporate jobs full time and look at full time entrepreneurship. So, how do we help them? We help them in a variety of ways. We have a program that we put into place called the PWNC Transition Program. I don't want to get too much into it because there's a lot that's involved, but it consists of the foundation, having accountability partner, how to do a business plan, how to do financials, making sure that you're set up properly. So God forbid, if we have another pandemic, then, it will be easier for your business to survive, making sure that your papers and everything are, properly put together. So we have a whole host. We have, organizations that we will be working with. It's a yearly program. It is free for you to apply to the program. Once you're in the program, then we take you to the necessary steps that will help you become successful in what it is that you want to do. So those are our announcements. And then Jay, so we're about to wrap it up. Last words, is there anything that you would like to say? I don't, whatever you want to do, if it's a poem. And again, at the bottom, everything impressive.com is Jay's website. So whatever you want to leave us with, definitely feel free.
Yeah, I actually wanted to share a poem from my book. This comes from, so Wild Yoni Flower is broken down into three chapters: Wild,
Hmm.
Yoni, and Flower. And the theme, goes according to the name. So
Okay.
comes from the Wild chapter, and it's called Fire Water. I got that fire water in between my legs. Each step I take burns me alive. I'm surprised I don't ignite as I walk, sending sparks from the motion raging deep down below in my insides to the contact my feet make once they hit the pavement, electrifying every innocent bystander within a close radius. It's a wonder my charged atoms aren't attracting more heat. I'm gonna leave it there because I see we're running out of time. But that was fire water.
Oh my God. You know what? No, it's fine. I would have been perfectly okay for you to finish, but you know what? You gave us an appetizer.
I
So that with the appetizer, it will ignite the imagination. And not only that, it will make us want more. So we will go out and buy your book. Now, where can people get your book from?
So they can get it on Amazon. Right now it's available at Amazon and it's in paperback and Kindle.
Wonderful. Jay, I want you to hold on. I'm going to say goodbye to my guest, but you were a wonderful guest today. Thank you for bringing that Florida weather to here to Philadelphia because we needed it. And I appreciate you and continue on your path. I see great things for you and for your business in your future. Continue to be humble, continue to be present, and continue to just let people know who you are.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So hold on and I'll be right back. Okay, everyone, as always, we had a fabulous, fabulous show today. I hope you got some nuggets, some tips, and some tools. Jay came, she represented it. She also left you with some words from her poetry from her book. So make sure that you guys go out and support her. After the live, I will make sure I put her website in the comments on my personal page and also on the Unapologetically Me page so you guys can connect with her. But on that note, everyone, please have a wonderful Tuesday. Stay safe. Like I said, get out, enjoy some of this beautiful weather. It is beautiful. And I will see you guys again next Tuesday at 12:30 on Unapologetically Me with another fabulous guest. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.